Hey guys, so today I'm going to have a look at my Wanhao D5S. I'm going to replace the bed springs on the duplicator. The existing springs are these springs here, which is obviously not very good. They're not that stiff, so they don't last that long. So I'm actually going to undergo a process where I'm going to change them out with more stiffer springs, and I'll show you how we do that. So this is how the system obviously looks. You've got your print bed, and then your print bed is underneath your print bed is the portion that supports it. So taking the print bed off, this is the portion that holds the print bed. So what we are going to do is this portion we're going to loosen it from that carriage. Your spring obviously sits between this portion and that portion. So I've already taken those springs out, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. In order to take this off from the printer, you've got 8 screws at the 4 here and 4 on that side, and then there's 2 at the back here as well. You physically have to loosen those 10 screws, and basically once done, there's the 4, and then your other 2 screws, which are the longer screws, they go at the back here. The 4 short ones, or rather sorry, the 8 short ones, 4 left, 4 right, those are the 8 screws that are there. So once you've taken them out, you can basically take this whole section away. I'm just going to take these bolts away, and in this whole section we can actually flip it over. Okay, so what I've done is I've just gone and put 2 washers here with a nut, same there, to attach it. And what we'll do is we'll now go and measure the distances, because we're going to install a new spring here, a new one there, and a new one on that side there as well. So we'll still have the 3 springs, but we'll install 3 stronger ones, stiffer ones, in place of the old existing ones. So what we've done is we've now measured the diameter or the width of this spring, which is 15 millimeters. This is the old spring. This will be the new spring that we will install, which is in actual fact a Creality spring. This one is 8 millimeters in diameter. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the 2 diameters together. So 15 plus the 8 gives us 23 mils. So what I'm going to do is on each of these nuts, towards the inner part of it, towards the inner side and towards the inner side, we're going to measure from the outside. We're going to measure that 23 mils inwards, and here we're going to take it from the outside of this thread and measure 23 mils inwards, and we'll mark it. And then we're going to drill the 3 holes. The 3 new holes will then drill right through this plate as well as the top plate, because we need to put our M4 bolt from the top of this plate through here and then through this plate. So you can see on the plate we've now marked out the places where we want to drill that 4 millimeter hole, or rather 4.5 millimeter hole, because the bolt we're going to use is a 4 millimeter bolt. You'll see there's the 3 places marked with a little cross that I've marked out for you guys. So there's the 1, 2 and 3, and those are the places that we will now go and drill right through both plates, the 4.5 millimeter hole for our 4 millimeter bolts. As you can see, I've now drilled the 3 holes like I mentioned. So those are now drilled, and it's been countersunked as well, because obviously this will be our screw that we're going to be using. It's an M4 by 50 millimeters long, and that screw will go through from the top straight through the bottom plate as well. But I'm going to remove the top plate now, and I'm going to then put this bolt through and install a nylock M4 nut on the back of this plate, so that this bolt with that nylock nut will then stay in place. And this will then be done for all 3 the holes. I have separated the 2 plates from one another, and like I said, this bolt, which is your M4 by 50 mils, that will now go through this hole, and then on that side of it we will then basically put a nylock nut on it to keep that bolt steady in place there. and we will do that for all three the holes. And then once that is done, that will then go through the 3 new holes that we've now drilled, which is there. And basically between this plate and that plate, that's where your spring will be installed. Okay, so now what we've done is we've installed those 3 bolts with their lock nuts, the M4 bolts. So basically what's going to happen now is, so where the old spring used to be, which was obviously there for all 3 places, we are now going to replace these old springs with the new ones that will basically slip over like that. So I'm going to install that on all 3, and then this plate of ours will now basically, okay, it's a bit difficult to do it that way, but the long and the short of it is you are going to let it sit like that. We've assembled back our support structure for our bolt plate. We tightened those 4 bolts as well as those 4, and then these 2 that holds it to your Z screw. So this bolt plate is now back intact. Now what we can do is we can take our bolt plate, we can install those new springs, and then we can actually tighten it down and basically level it up and see how it performs. So now we have got this bed basically installed. You can see that those 3 new springs are in there. I'm just busy printing now the knobs, and once the knobs are here we can actually install it, finish this thing off, and actually start doing a test print. Okay, so these are the knobs drawn by Lucky Man on Thingiverse. We'll use these for our Duplicator 5S Mini. You can see there it's Thingiverse thing, and this is what the actual printed part looks like once it's printed on the Ender 3V2. So now we will just install the M4 nut. There's 2 more being printed, and those will then go onto the D5S Mini, so we can then, you know, bolt that bed down. Hi guys, okay, so we've now got our 3 wheels installed, as well as our 3 springs, as you can see, and now we are busy printing our chip calibration cube, and so far it is doing great. So very impressed with the upgrade. Definitely worthwhile in my opinion. Thanks for watching.